again from Green Island Gardens. It's October, and walking around the gardens at the moment, you can't fail to notice all the beautiful coloured foliage and leaves of the changing of the trees and shrubs. But also in evidence is a huge variety of different coloured berries at the moment. Some of them are obvious and in your face, others are smaller and you need to seek them out a little bit. But I thought it would be a nice addition to our series of 10 best plants if I were to show you my favourite shrubs and plants for berries in the autumn. The first one I'm standing in front of here is quite an unusual plant. This is called Phytolacca americana. The common name for it is the pokeweed. And it's a curious plant. It grows from the most enormous rootstock, which is almost like a turnip or a mangold. You can see some of these enormous roots. They look like something out of Harry Potter. But it sends up these lovely deep wine red coloured shoots. It has lovely leaves, huge leaves, which colour well in autumn as well. And then spires of these pinky white flowers that come from midsummer onwards. The flowers mature to produce green berries, you can see them here, and then gradually over time they mature to red and purple and almost dark black. But all through, the stems of everything is stained with this purple dye. The berries are eaten by the birds. I don't think they would do humans a lot of good, although I am told that pokeweed did have a lot of uses in America in the past for medicinal uses, particularly treating symptoms of the menopause. It's a lovely plant, but it does seed prolifically in the garden. It's fairly easy to pull the seedlings out when they're small, so I tend to just hoe them or take them all out and just let a few of them pop up each year. But they really do make quite an architectural feature at this time of year. This is a lovely evergreen shrub, a neat looking plant. It's been here over 25 years and this is as big as it's grown. It's called Panettia mucronata, Bell's seedling. The name has now been changed to Gaultheria mucronata, Bell's seedling, but basically the common name is prickly heath. The stems are a little bit prickly, but it's very neat, attractive foliage with red tinges to the stems, beautiful for flower arranging. It has a profusion of white flowers in summer, followed by berries in colours ranging from white, light pink through to deep pink, such as this cultivar, which is called Bell's seedling. They do tend to be male or female plants, although this particular one is a hermaphrodite, so it will produce berries on its own. But you will get better results if you plant a few of them around. So this one will berry better if there are male ones as well nearby, but it will berry on its own. But I love these berries particularly to use at Christmas time, in Christmas wreaths and on the table at Christmas dinner. The pink colour just gives a slight alternative to the traditional red of the holly berries, and I particularly like it for that. And they persist right through the winter. The birds don't seem to take them, and they look lovely into January and February, even on a cold, frosty day. So a really lovely plant. This is an unusual shrub, not often seen. It's called Eugenia Etna fire. It's an evergreen shrub, and when I bought it, it said on the label it may not be fully hardy. This is why it's growing in a pot at the moment. I have taken several cuttings and I do plan to try it outside in the garden, but nevertheless it has the most beautiful spidery white flowers late summer, followed by beautiful berries which start at a green colour and then they colour through blue and finally bright purple. A really spectacular sight. It can be grown as a hedge, and it would grow a lot bigger than this, but because it's in the pot, I have pruned it quite severely to restrict its size. Normally, the new growth on this has lovely bright red colours. You can see some of it just trying to colour there. But I think what's happened is because I've got it in a slightly less sunny position this year, it hasn't coloured quite so well. So next year I plan to relocate it back in the seaside garden where it was last year, where it was in full sun and we got much better colour. But still worth giving a go for something a bit different. Euonymus is a huge group of plants. There are evergreen ones, deciduous ones, small ones, big ones. But my favourite ones are the ones that are grown for their autumn berries. This one is Euonymus europaeus, red cascade it's called, relative of the common European spindle tree. It has clusters of small green insignificant flowers, but they're followed by these lovely berries in the autumn. Clusters of bright pink berries which will open in a week or two to reveal the orange seed inside. A funny wacky colour, but they make a really spectacular sight. These berries will persist long after the leaves have turned red and orange and fallen, and they'll still be here right through to Christmas, ready for us to use on our Christmas wreaths. There are lots and lots of different deciduous euonymus that are grown for their berries, and if you're taken in with them, why not go along to the Place for Plants where Rupert Ely has a national collection of them not far from here. You'll enjoy a lovely afternoon looking at all sorts of different coloured berries. They're slightly addictive, I have to confess. As I mentioned, we've got lots of different euonymus in the gardens here. This one is Trapococcus, quite unusual, really pale pink flowers, very pretty when they open, just starting to reveal their berries now. But my absolute favourite euonymus is this one here. This is Euonymus myryanthus. It comes from Western China and it combines the best features of all the euonymus in that this one is evergreen. It makes a really nice shaped shrub, compact and dense. It has lovely clusters of greeny yellow flowers which are quite prominent in the spring, which is very unusual for most of the deciduous euonymus berrying types. And then in the autumn, these lovely berries which develop from green through yellow to a really bright orange before they open up, revealing their bright orange, almost red berries in about 2 or 3 weeks' time. The foliage also colours nicely in the autumn, making it look really stunning in the autumn. This is a lovely shrub, again evergreen, small, not too tall growing, grows to about 3 feet possibly when mature. Has a slightly suckering habit again, but it's called Myrtus ugni, or otherwise known as Ugni mollini. Chilean guava is the common name. It has lovely evergreen foliage, again good for flower arrangers, quite stiff stems, small pointed leaves, bright green. A profusion of white flowers in summer, followed by these lovely red hanging berries. And the whole shrub is scented of that same flavour. These berries are edible and they're absolutely delicious. They were said to be the favourite fruit of Queen Victoria. And in London it wasn't warm enough when she was living, so she commissioned people to grow them in her properties down in Devon and Cornwall in the southwest where it was warmer, and ship them up to London where she could actually eat them. They are, as I say, absolutely delicious. The flavour I would describe as something between a strawberry, a kiwi fruit and a sort of sherbety bubblegum flavour. Absolutely delicious. But the leaves have that gorgeous scent as well as the berries. So it gives off a lovely aroma, particularly when the berries are on the shrub. But don't be tempted to try and eat them too early. Let them ripen right into October and November, and then they really are a treat. They're becoming quite a delicacy in New Zealand and Australia now, but still haven't taken off here. So maybe if we get enough likes and shares on this YouTube video, we might start a craze. Viburnums are a wonderful group of plants. There is a viburnum for virtually every garden, I can guarantee. But when we're looking for them for berries, there's 2 I'd recommend. This is the first one, Viburnum nudum Pink Beauty it's called. It has lovely, long, glossy, shiny leaves which do colour beautifully in the autumn. But its real stunning showstopper feature is the berries. These are formed after clusters of white typical viburnum flowers in the summer, and they start in shades of green, maturing to yellow, to pink, to bright pink, and then finally to blue and dark black in the end. So you often get this composite appearance of the clusters of berries on the bush when it's absolutely covered in them, with all the different colours which can make it really, really attractive feature. Deep in the woods here, another viburnum. This one you would probably be forgiven for passing by in the garden centres for most of the year because it looks fairly innocuous, with clusters of typical small white flowers in the spring. But in the autumn, look at these berries. absolutely covered in these huge bunches that look like red currant berries. They persist for weeks and weeks and weeks because the birds don't like them. So a really good feature, but they will be taken out by the first really, really hard frosts. But you can expect to get a good 3 months out of these. Here we have some really spectacular berries, really vivid purple colour, and this is Callicarpa. Callicarpa bodinarii, variety Giraldii, profusion. A real mouthful, I apologise for its name, but it probably justifies it by the spectacular berries it has. Otherwise known as the beauty berry, it has fairly insignificant leaves and flowers, but it's really in the autumn that it comes into its own. This particular cultivar, profusion, is the one to go for because the berries are biggest and there's the most of them. And you can see this one is absolutely covered in them. This is a lovely shrub which I often recommend in various different categories. Even if it weren't for the berries, I would still grow it. It's called Nandina domestica, or the sacred bamboo is the common name. This one has a more upright, it does have a suckering habit, but here growing in the gravel, it's not allowed to do that. So it's been contained fairly well. But it makes a nice, elegant, open, branching evergreen shrub, has beautifully divided leaves into lots and lots of different leaflets. And you can see they colour nicely in the autumn as well, just beginning to turn now. It has clusters of white flowers from spring through to summer, followed by lovely berries here that are starting to form, which start green colour, mature to orange by Christmas, and by Easter they're usually bright red like some of these ones here. You can see these berries are actually left from last year, this time last year. So that proves that they really are not liked by the birds at all. So if you want to grow a plant for colourful berries in the garden, this is a really good one to choose. And again, it's great for Christmas decorations. So once again, thank you very much for watching our video. If you fancy a few plants with some berries for your garden this autumn, whether it be the Chilean guava or the Viburnum or anything else we've featured today, we do sell mail order plants in our nursery. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe.